Oh wait.
Yes. There we go.
You're home now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
So what time is it there?
It is 9:47 a.m. Nothing too bad.
That's
Yeah,
not
not too
too
bad.
bad. Okay, good. That's not
Yeah,
too bad. I
yeah, exactly.
I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah, don't feel bad. It feel good actually. Sometimes I'm sleeping until this time and I hate it.
I feel that.
Mm,
First, obviously, I want to give you a huge congratulations on your Oscar nomination. It is
thank you.
so well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been a long process, I think, from Venice to the Oscar nomination announcement. How's
Yeah.
that whole experience been for you?
Listen, it was definitely long. Definitely took a great deal of energy, but at the same time, for this film, for this experience, for the people that I'm with, I actually really enjoyed it. I actually really am grateful for it. Because there is that bittersweet moment when the whole charade has passed and you think, wow, I wish I was with them again and kind of doing this stuff again. So for something that is as close to my heart as this, and just really a gift that keeps on giving, I'm really humbled to keep returning to it. And yeah, it was a really good time, and we're about to go probably back into another similar thing like that.
It's round two.
Yeah, it's round two.
What's your relationship been to the Oscars? Was it something that you watched as a kid or cared about or knew about?
Listen, I'll be transparent and I'll say that, like, as an actor, getting into acting, finding a passion for it, awards, and if I may be respectful, I'll say it like a token of appreciation, which it very much is, and it's something honorable. But it was just something that I didn't pay a lot of attention to, and I think that's just in straight up protection of myself, my ego, and I just wanted to focus on the moment and be present with my passion and my joy and my labor, and yeah, the things that I was achieving, and that was enough. But yeah, I mean, Oscars, the Academy, when you hear those words, it just brings a prestigious echo, and it's definitely something that I never thought I would really, I don't know, I don't think I even thought about it. To say I never thought I'd be a part of it sounds like I'm doing a disservice to myself, but I don't think I did, and I don't think I would. Just didn't come to mind. So I mean, at least this young, and that was I mean, and I'm so grateful, because I feel like it's like in a very symbolic way, it marks, it's like a landmark achievement and a checkpoint, and again, like a token of appreciation that serves as a reminder for where you started. It makes you go right back to there and think about where you started and what you've been through to get here, and just the fact that it's a symbol for recognition, that people are seeing you eye to eye for the work that you do. It's beautiful. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like you just started acting a couple of years ago. You've been acting half of your entire life.
Yeah,
So,
I still wonder what I have to do to rid myself of the label of up and coming, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
I was gonna say you're still getting. I've still seen like breakthrough, things, and I'm like, have you watched Kodi Smit-McPhee for the last 12 years?
I think it's because a great deal, and I find this honorable. I find that I'm proud of this. I think because a great deal of what I do, first of all of my characters look so different, and I think I look very different than what I do in real life. But mainly, it's all like a lot of independent stuff, and I've been very picky with what I do and the amount of exposure that I have, and I like remaining under the radar when it's appropriate. And so, yeah, I mean, some of that might be on my behalf, but I think it's worth it. I view it as a marathon run, not a sprint. Very happy for people that blow up and they're everywhere at once, and sometimes I envy it, but no, I'm very happy with where I am. But yeah, it's funny sometimes, like, yeah, in Australia no one really knows of me, which is it's kind of good. I think that's good.
Your on-screen mom in The Power of the Dog, Kirsten Dunst, also was a child actor who grew up and has
Mm.
had a successful career. Did you have something like a philosophy or somebody that's been able to keep you pretty grounded so that you haven't, flown off the rails?
I would say if you met my dad, you would see what did that for me. Um, yeah, I mean, both my mum and dad obviously have their own attributes that they passed on to me, and words of wisdom, and just in ultimately the fundamentals of how they raised me. You can tell someone something and you can give them advice, but it's really in who you are as a being that will determine your fate. So I can only be grateful for that and for how they raised me. But yeah, I think I've just always from my dad, my mom always been told to stay, grounded and just quickly understood, I think, the benefits of that. There's one thing of being told being grounded and remain humble and all this kind of stuff, but to understand why it's more beneficial than the latter, than the opposite, that's the key. So I find joy in, being under the radar and not being so well known that I can't do anything, and not getting so crazy that, I just become money hungry or just anything toxic like that. I see the benefit of, I guess, being as normal as possible.
Yeah, I think so. Let's talk a little bit about Power of the Dog. What did you find on the page for Peter, and what did you bring to him that wasn't there?
um I saw a lot in Peter that I actually related to. I guess just broadly, I guess being a kind of out of the box, quirky character, something that people don't and might not really understand it in first impressions. I feel like people might have a lot of, I don't know, this could be my own insecurities, but I feel like people might have a lot of judgments about me when they first meet me, and then you get to know me and you understand why I am like I am and appreciate it a bit more. But I definitely, Peter resonated with me. He's a hermit. He loves, being on his lonesome. He is extremely curious about, I think, his position in the world. But at the same time, he's had to deal with a great sense of responsibility from a very young age, which I think is a big part of his courage and his pride and his kind of unwavering spirit in the face of adversity and judgment. So if anything, to that extent, I envied and I respected in him, because yeah, I think in our day and age, social media, I don't know, just everything, we have to do a great deal of covering up who we really are, and he doesn't do that. So I really respect that, and I couldn't wait to jump in those shoes and see what that felt like. So yeah, and then I guess the rest of it was done at the magnificent hands of Jane Campion.
Tell me a little bit about that casting process for you, and then the rehearsal process to
The
get there.
casting process was, I mean, we could call it an audition, but for me, it was so far from that. It was like the most comfortable, chilled out conversation that I had with someone that was equally as passionate about this story as I was. And we just explored, talking about my life, talking about Peter. And then in the coolest way possible, we just like resurrected Peter into the room and just improvised with him, which I think is such a progressive way of doing an audition, as opposed to giving someone 5 minutes and putting them in a cattle call, which understandably we don't always have the time to sit down and improvise. But it was so much more forgiving and so much more relaxing and freeing. And I guess in the same way, it's almost like equally challenging as well, like for the director to see someone, how much they understand the character and how immersed they are in their world. That's a really great challenge. So yeah, we did a bit of that, and we did some cold reads, and it was actually very quick. They seemed very convinced, I guess, if I may say that, without getting too much of a big head. I think they just said that they saw a great deal, of him in me, and therefore, my portrayal of him was very, very close to what they thought and what they needed. So, I mean, that was all extremely ideal. And then the rehearsal process was, it definitely kicked into another gear. It was like, Jane boot camp for 2 weeks. We worked, in so many different ways. We worked with the group of, the rest of the cast, and then one-on-one with, Kirsten and I, Benedict and I, and then straight up one-on-one with Jane and I. And at each level, you could go into another layer of the story. Obviously, on the level where you're working with a lot of people, it's things that are on the surface. And then the more you get, one-on-one with Benedict, and then just one-on-one with Jane, you get into the introspective, internalized, subliminal, subconscious levels of Peter and his initiative and his motives and his thinking process, and the kind of secret mission he's on. So a great deal of thought went into that. And then another side of it was more just a rational, I guess, cosmetic side, you could call it, of body movement, just dialing in, the lisp and stuff for Peter, finding a realistic kind of world for that. So yeah, I mean, in every way we chiseled and shaped him.
Did you have a favorite scene to shoot, and then a favorite one as it turned out?
Yeah, I love the catwalk scene, where that's what we call it, where Peter, sees something that catches his eye. It's like a bird's nest or something, which is really cute. And then he walks up to it, strides his stuff, doesn't care about anything that's going on around him, like he's in his own impenetrable bubble. Looks, then walks away, does the same thing, doesn't take a different route. And you notice on the way back that no one's hooting and hollering anymore. They all just look like idiots, because now he's walking back the same way and they're not saying anything, which I think is really dominating in a way. And then, of course, there's that fantastic conversation between Phil and Peter, which in and of itself is some kind of like, it's like a duel. It's like some subconscious duel going on between the dominance of each other. And Phil, for the first time, is finding in this kid that he thought was naive and a brittle little stick that he could break, he's finding some lightning in him. He's finding some force in him that I think he is a little bit threatened by, and then at the same time a little bit attracted to as well, which is just like, whoa. And then we explore both of those avenues, the sense of impending doom, but almost a sense of kind of romance, and Phil filling the shoes of Bronco Henry, and him kind of filling the shoes for maybe a father figure and sexual exploration or something like that, with Peter. But I mean, now we're getting into the interpretations that everyone, takes away something different.
It is, and that's kind of one of the enjoyable things about it, is that you can really take away quite a few different things. I am really glad that you mentioned the catwalk scene, because that is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna try and find a way to work something in here. Have you ever seen RuPaul's Drag Race, or do you know the show?
No, I know the show. I do know the
Okay.
show, but I have never watched an episode.
So a very good friend of mine overlaid one of the songs from the show
No way.
for that catwalk, and it's like, I have to show you if we can pull this off.
That is genius.
Wait, can you see? There we go.
No way.
Yeah. Goes the whole way back.
Yo, this is that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm sending this to Benedict and Jane. Wow.
I had to get that to you.
That is gold. I'm so glad that was my answer then. It's a very
I
powerful
am
scene.
too. I was gonna have to find a way to
Yeah,
get there, and then you just gave me
boom.
the open. So
That is gold.
I'll send it to your reps, and you can to get to it.
I love that. That
It's
should
a
have been the
lot of
music.
fun.
That should have been the
Yeah,
music.
it's good. I know we don't have a whole lot more time, but I'd love to just hear a little bit more about working with both Kirsten, but especially Benedict, because your dynamic is so completely crucial to everything and the power change dynamics that happened, and just how it
So
was to work together.
with Kirsten and I and Jesse, we connected just right off the bat. Such a grounded, I mean, everyone is, but I don't know, in this very unique, special way, Kirsten and Jesse are super grounded. I mean, you can see it in Jesse's performance. That is one word that completely summarizes his presence in that movie. So, oh God, and I'm so happy he got a nomination as well. It's like the coolest thing to be in the same category as him. But yeah, they're just so easy to get along with, so easy to see eye to eye with, and I hung out with them a lot off screen and on set. They really were like my extended parents. And with Benedict, I had a very similar, very grounded, easy to get along with relationship. But of course, he took a method approach, because that's what Jane wanted him to do. I may speak on behalf of them, and he committed to it. And I think it was amazing. It had this very hostile kind of domino effect on everyone on the set, which is what was needed for the nature of this film. And yet within that kind of hostile bubble and kind of walking on eggshells around him, it was Peter that had the privilege of kind of being in his pocket in a way. And Kodi, I got to laugh with him, I got to giggle with him. He had this room to have a bit more elasticity with me, because we knew the arc of where our characters went and what they had together, which was unique to what he had with anyone else. So that was beautiful, and I love him, and it was so amazing to work beside him. And yeah.
Did you learn anything about yourself playing Peter?
I think he just taught me a great deal about courage, like I said, to completely embrace like who you are, and to not sorry, one moment. Oh yeah. Yep. I'm so sorry, guys. Right here. That's my bad. Oh no, it's actually not. Keys in the car on the seat. Yeah, my bad. Tell her there's no gas. Sorry. My girlfriend came to pick up my car, no gas in it. So I'm a good boyfriend. That's really bad.
I feel you.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, just a great deal of kind of like armor and courage to take away from Peter. And it's something I'm still not really good at. Like sometimes, I don't know, I have a weird walk. I might talk funny. I don't know, I have my own things. And I always think, I have this narrative there that the world is judging me for them. So I think he gave me a lot more strength to kind of disperse that and just love myself.
One of the things that was really fun to see you during this whole season at festivals and appearances, everything, is your love of fashion, and obviously your ability to carry it off. Have you, I know it's only been a day, but have you started thinking about what you might want to wear, and working with Jared, with your stylist in that?
Oh yeah, we've been working on that for a little while here.
Good.
Because we have a good dynamic where we're comfortable enough with each other that we can butt heads. And I think when it comes to fashion, you have to have that ability to do that, because he has to be able to, push me to be daring and do brave things, but at the same time, I need to be able to tell him what's too ridiculous for the setting of film. I'm cool to do everything, if it's editorial or whatever, but when it comes to film, you're representing the brand of Kodi Smit-McPhee to some extent, and you don't want to do anything too crazy that makes your other counterparts look at you like, what are you doing? But yeah, so we walk a fine line between that, but at the same time, yeah, we want to make a a nice statement. And I'm a lover of fashion. I'm a lover of expressionism. I'm a lover of art and abstract kind of things. So yeah, I want that to be a part of how people see me.
I think it's great because it's kind of part of what the movie's about too, which is breaking down the constructs of masculinity and what it even means. And
exactly right.
Being able to do that with fashion is such a ideal way for men now to be able to do that. So
absolutely right. I feel more comfortable in doing it than ever. And again, maybe that's something that I took away from Peter, a slight bravery. But you know, my mom always brought me up saying not to be afraid of color, to the extent where I wore like a lime green suit in London once. But I don't regret it because it kind of shows the boundary, maybe the boundless nature of what I'm willing to do. Like, yeah, have a bit of fun with it.
Exactly. Well, I think everybody's looking forward to seeing what that's gonna look like. I definitely am. And cool. Kodi, again, congratulations to you and everybody on the film. I mean,
thank you.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for a lovely talk.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stroll down the runway, another payday, cover of magazines. And when they see me,